Welcome back. This is a special episode interviewing one of the most welcome, my loves. This is the story behind the story. I'm Sierra Melcher of Red Thread Publishing, and we are celebrating the release of our newest collaborative book, FEISTY. Stacy Dyson is an epic poet that I am fortunate enough to have met in person when people did that kind of thing. And she is a fierce woman in our community, one of our author coaches and contributor to FEISTY. Hello, my darling.
Hey, Shug.
Letting all those compliments just wash right off your back, I see.
Hey, thank you, Sierra. That was absolutely lovely. It really was. You always have such nice things to say about me. And 45% of them, I believe, on any given day. But I'll take it.
All right. I like to start these things off with making people really uncomfortable by complimenting them until they're sick. So I hope I've accomplished that. Moving on.
Much.
If you're new to this podcast, you may have realized that we don't take ourselves too seriously here, but we do like to have a good time. You've contributed to a number of our books lately, as well as putting 2 of your own poetry collections out in the last year. Let's sort of pull back, and instead of talking specifically about this book, or maybe if this is what you want to talk about, but what's happened for you in the last 9 months, having been part of 4 published works? 2 of them are your own. What are the trials, the triumphs, and anything else in between about bringing your word onto the page?
It's been, I hate to use the word interesting, and I only use it in the context of, I think it's a Chinese proverb, a curse actually, may you live in interesting times. Because I wasn't expecting, let's back up. Lovely and Suffering, when I started writing it, wasn't supposed to be anything but a chapbook. I was going to take it on down to the local Staples and have them run it up, and that's all it was ever supposed to be. Follow me on this. Same thing.
Little did she know.
Little did I know. And so to get both of those out and to see, I'm not gonna lie, to know that I am in Barnes and Noble, hell yeah. Okay, this is like a huge thing for me to
let's see if they can handle you.
Right, the idea that this abrupt, because it was abrupt, or it felt that way to me, switch in my poetic voice was actually something that people wanted to hear and have in their head, have in their heart, was something to celebrate and something to be really, really scared about. Because then it became, can I do this again? Can I recreate this? It almost immediately occurred to me, you're not supposed to recreate it. You're supposed to rise up a level. You're supposed to level up from this. Just in terms of what's been going on, a very, due to COVID, very small, very somewhat lackadaisical book tour. I'll be in, where will I be in? Oh, here, duh. I'll be, doing book signing in San Diego. The first one was in Colorado Springs, went really, really well. That was kind of, that was for the home folk, sort of. But the books get blasted. The weird part of it is that I get blasted too, which I'm not used to. As a poet, especially, you sit, the work is everything. And if you get celebrated, that's lovely, but it's not supposed to be part of the contract. That's not why you do this. And so for folks that I regularly do not want to follow on stage in real life, for them to buy the book and become fans is a little bit past mind blowing. So I'm having to wrap my head around that. I did go in knowing a couple of things. I was not going to get rich off the royalties. I knew that. I knew that. Nice little bit of pocket change though. It was kind of cool to get that first royalty check.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fine. It was fun. Um, but the biggest part of it all has just been me able to, I don't really like to use the word leverage, but that's what it is, to solidify all of that into the big project, or a big project for me, which is going to take up about the rest of my life,
Yeah.
really. And I hadn't planned on this again, but this all sprang from something that was supposed to be a chapbook and wasn't. I'm getting ready to have already started an International Women's Poetry Network. And this will connect sister poets all over the world. We will have everything from podcasts to workshops to coaching sessions, to where at some point there'll be a financial wing that we set up, so that you want to go to a residency, you can't afford it, you go here and we will fund you. You don't have diapers for your kid this week, we'll fund it, that sort of thing. The big aim was to create spaces where sister poets, sister storytellers could feel safe and protected and heard. And I wasn't seeing that in the virtual onlines the way I needed to. I was hearing some really not too nice stories about things that were going on behind the scenes. And these are stories that have actually plagued poetry community, the slam community, the performance poetry community for a little while. Things that should not have been happening were because we weren't safe in the spaces where we were working. I'm sick of that. It needs to go away. So Tesoro makes its official debut March the 18th. That date is significant. It's my daddy's birthday. My daddy was my biggest fan. And so he is about to get internationally about 30,000 or however more daughters who are working, who are working in safe, protected spaces where they can do their work and not have to worry about the foolishness of misogyny and everything else. But aside from that, haven't been doing a thing.
I know. When I think Stacy Dyson, I think full-on slacker. That's sarcasm for those of you who don't read. That's sarcasm.
Quite honestly, it's been a lot of fun, really. It's been a great rush, because I thought my career was over. And you and I have talked about this before.
Yeah.
I'm about to be 63 in, what is today? 2 weeks. I thought I was
Happy
done.
birthday.
Thank you.
Nowhere close, it seems. Nowhere close.
Well, I tell people all the time I have the strength of 5 because my heart is semi-pure. I'm pretty sure it's Irish. God and your parents give you the face you're born with. You give yourself the face you die with. I want to die looking good. So I look best when I'm happy and when I'm productive. And I am most of the time, both of those things right now.
Yeah. I love it. When I see someone doing what they're good at, doing what the world needs, and lit up by it, for me, there's nothing else. There's nothing better. It's like you found your passion and your skill, and the world's a better place because you get up in the morning.
Well, I get to the big payoff in this for me is that I get to connect people I know should know each other. Connecting you and Erica was probably one of the best things I ever did in my whole entire life. Erica Tilley, if y'all don't know her, you will meet her. Her stage name is Poet Con. This is one of the handful of women in the world I will not follow on stage if I don't have to. This woman lays down tracks in blood and fire every single time. I am a huge fan. I am flattered as all get out that she thinks of me as a big sister. And so when I met her, it's like, I have somebody I need for you to meet just immediately. You need to meet my publisher. She's gonna want to know about you. So I get to make those sort of connections. I get to introduce women poets who should be heard on stages worldwide to other women and other places that will get them there. Because yes, the arts are going to save everybody. And yes, poets will be in the forefront. And yes, we will be pretty much taking over the world in the next 2 years. Get ready.
And we need this connection, right? This community, the I know somebody, I've got something for you.
Exactly.
The value of that human connection, that network of opportunity, it's better than gold.
It's necessary. That networking, that what is that ridiculous exercise they have to do in psychology 101? Fall backwards. You can trust this person, they will catch you.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I was never very good at that exercise.
Yeah, I refused to do that on the day we did it in class. It's like, I don't know you people. Okay. And some of y'all think you're funny. And
I want to watch you all fall on your butts, but I'm going to be over here. Yeah.
So no, that was not going to happen. But in the grown-up world, okay. If there's somebody that I can catch, or somebody that I need to catch me, to know that that network is there and available and in the world. Sometimes it's just enough to know that it's in the world somewhere. So as long as that's happening, anything that I can do to further that, enhance it, encourage it, that's not just something that I want to do. That's my job. That's my mission statement. That is my, it's part of my makeup. Okay. With right comes responsibility. Okay. God gave me this. I get to do this. I get to put words on paper and have people's hearts and minds and spirits go, okay. I don't get to just sit back and go, well, that was fun. I'll just enjoy that for me. That's not the way it works. That's not the contract. Now, the fact that I'm having fun doing all this, that just makes it better.
That's the gravy. I was on a call very recently, a podcast interview just like this with the Poet Con, and she said the same thing about you. And that for me is that's what happens when people get together, when the right people are in the right rooms together. You and I are in a room together, even though you're halfway around the world at the moment. We are building each other up. And like you, I will always be there to catch someone. And to know that when I'm face down, because I'm getting better at being face down, I don't have to be there for very long because I'm not by myself. Exactly. And that is amazing.
I'm forever misquoting. I'm going to hope this is Maya Angelou, but there's a poem and the refrain is nobody but nobody can make it out there alone. Especially especially now, especially women. All of the things that we
Yeah.
kept hoping we could just take for granted keep eroding.
Mm.
And nobody is trying particularly hard to make sure that our faces aren't in the mud all the time. So we have to do it. We have to do it. We don't have a choice. And that means building networks. That means keeping promises. That means taking care of yourself,
Mm.
because if your own mask isn't on, nobody else around you is going to be able to breathe. I have spent the last month, longer, I swear, telling women, you have got to take care of yourself, because if you go down, the world around you is going to go down too. And that sucks as a burden to put on people, but it's the truth.
Yeah. And we've never, I was going to say we've forgotten, but it's not that we've forgotten. It's like we never learned how.
We're not socialized
And it's
to.
time. Yeah.
No. Everybody gets taken care of, and then you can take care of yourself. And our mothers were socialized into that, and our grandmothers.
With the scraps.
Right, the whole
Yeah.
thing. Okay. At some point, you have to break that chain, because it's not serving anybody. And that's a hard thing to, I'm forever amused and amazed, mostly amazed by the fact that women have to actively train themselves out of that mindset. I don't know a single woman who hears that philosophy and just goes, oh, tra-la, yes, I'll be doing that. They have to consciously work at it.
Yeah. I was in active rebellion against it for a long time, which is not the right angle, but I know what you
You know what?
speak.
People pretty much do what it is that they need to do to cope. And the last 2 years, especially, everybody's been living in, we got out of survival mode and went right into coping mode. Neither one is a place to live, really.
Yeah.
Nobody, I certainly am getting tired of just coping. And the constant refiguring, the constant, well, yeah, I can go ahead and set this gig up, but I'm gonna have to cancel it next week because the numbers went up,
Oh my
or
God.
that nonsense.
Yeah.
Gets to
Yeah.
be a bit much. And just when I think I'm into, oh, okay, I get to live now again, then it's back into, guess what? Numbers went up, another variant coming through, you get to go back to coping.
Ugh.
And so for, you do what it is necessary to get yourself, if you can't actually leave that space, at least to take vacations from it sometimes.
Yes. Can I ask a question about Tesoro?
Sure.
For people who are watching this before March 18th, is there information about it yet, or should we just be on pins and
It's
needles
kind of
until
watch
then?
this space at this point.
Okay.
This idea is so new that we're still registering people for the invitational.
Good.
And again, like I said, 20 of the hottest voices on the circuit right now, which means it takes a minute. But probably by March the 17th, or not March, by February the 17th, we will start publicity and advertising for the
Great.
invitational. And
Okay.
as Tesoro takes more form and more shape, there'll be more information coming out about that. I can tell you that we'll be coming out of the gate
Great.
with one writing workshop and at least two virtual open mics. And we'll kind of,
Awesome.
build on from there.
Good. And we will make sure to be sharing all of the news when it's available. In the meantime, if you don't already
In the
own these
meantime,
two things, you need them. And Stacy's also shared a chapter in FEISTY, which is lighting up #1 in Amazon on all over the place. So, right, we're gonna take a moment and celebrate
Yeah,
because Stacy's one of 19 women who've shared a chapter in this book, and it really is. It's exceeded my wildest dreams for it already.
good.
So I'm very
Because you should be getting
pleased
some
and
joy out
proud.
of this too.
Is that what it's about? Dang.
Yeah, honey. It
Dang.
actually is.
Something about my chats with you always bring out my sarcasm. I want to put my sarcasm in a box
No.
because it's true.
If you stop doing that, then I would need to take your temperature and get a retinal scan to make sure it was still you. So it's fine. It's
Oh,
fine.
all right. Feisty comes out in all shapes and sizes, including sarcastic ones.
I will just say that the chapter in Feisty was markedly different from the one that I did for Anatomy of a Book.
Yep.
This one hurt me to write.
Mm.
Because it has to deal with changing voice and changing who I was on a very essential level. And it was painful to talk about that. I can do it poetically. I do it on stage every night, but to have to sit down and write it out and make it so that I told my truth without scaring my congregation too much. That was a bit of a challenge. And then to just admit to myself, because there are always things that you want to say and you say them in the back of your head, but they're never supposed to be said out loud. You know, you work past it, you work around it, you work through it, you work over it. But working with it, that hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, that's the feisty that we need, though, right? That's the owning and the growing.
Well, that's
because when you do it for yourself, it's laying the foundation
right.
for spaces for other women to do whatever it is that they need to do as well.
It for me is very much okay, you keep telling people you've got a sword and a shield, polish it so they can see it. And you can't be afraid of cutting yourself on the edges of either. So it becomes, again, spiritual mission, holy mission, that sort of thing. I have a very old-fashioned mindset as far as that sort of thing goes. This is where I live right now is battleground. It's battlefield. I have to be ready. And for my sisters who aren't sure or who aren't quite there, I have to be ready to fight for them too. And that means telling the truth, whether it hurts me or not.
I just have a daughter arriving. So
They'll do that.
Bless you. They do. Bless you. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your voice. And thank you for this mission that you are on. It's
couldn't do it without you, Shug. Not nearly as gracefully or elegantly as I am lucky enough to, to be or do. Why do you laugh when I tell you stuff
to the
like
world
that?
with the sorrow in it. Because I don't know how to take a compliment. What do you want from me?
Then don't talk to me about, why are you blushing? Ha ha ha. Just say thank you, Stacy, and let it go.
Thank you, Stacy.
How hard was that? Did that hurt you? No.
We could have another conversation about that later. As always, sending a little bit more truth than usual and lots of love. Tune into the next podcast where we're going to be speaking to another author of Feisty and just speaking it like it is. Sending you love.